What is the connection between vocational education and what society does? It's been an issue for over 100 years. Here in the Caribbean, you've done a very good job in building the system that you have, although there's much still to be done. For many years, they espoused that what we do in technical and vocational education belongs to the community. And so our curriculum belongs to the community. And who is that community? That community is you. Everybody you will find within the community. The workers, the employers, government, that is the community. And in technical and vocational education, we espouse that philosophy that our curriculum belongs to the community, and so before we teach anything, the ideal thing is to go back to the community and say, what do you want us to teach? And the community tells you exactly what they need out there, and this is what we should teach. But oftentimes this is not the case. At the university level, we sit down, we design a curriculum, we speculate on what society wants, and we teach, we graduate students. I've been a victim of that for many years. Now, we are not good at the university of going back to see whether somebody is employed or not. When we graduate students, we bid them farewell. Someday we meet them somewhere and say, where are you now? And I'm sure it's the case everywhere, because the mission of the university is quite different. Now here we're talking about training this morning. Training itself is just a lifelong learning. Just as education is for everybody, training is for everybody. If you want to contribute to increased productivity, then training is for you. And if you're not open to receiving training in the time of your career, then I would fairly say that you're contributing to low productivity. Equal access to education, what do we mean? It means everybody should have access to education and training. But how? This is the question. What do you have in place in your policy, in the strategic planning or plans of that institution, or as a country, what do we have in place to make sure that everybody have access to education and training? Those who are marginalized, men and women, people in the informal sector, the disabled, because in all these groups of people, there are highly talented people in this group of people I'm mentioning. How do we get training to them, and how do we get education to them? And we're living in an age where people want to receive education when they want to receive education. Not everybody will be forced to go into a classroom or in a training setting, but we can do the same thing, or we can provide the same training to people in the comfort of their homes. Now that means a lot of innovations, which may not be all that very difficult. Training and lifelong learning, as we said, is for everybody. We all know what lifelong learning is. You have to seek training continuously. And it is not only for somebody at the lower point of the career, but also individuals at the highest point. There's another key issue that I would also like to talk about as I looked at issues within the Caribbean when I joined, and it's not only in the Caribbean but also in other parts of the world. The issue of articulation. Many a times we waste young people's time in schools, having to make them take courses over and over again, because there's no articulation between what I'm doing at this level and when they get to the next level. With the issue of qualifications here that we have, if I take my level 1 qualification or level 2 and go to a community college, what does it mean to a community college? Where will they place me? How many credit hours do that mean? And so we have to sit down and iron out all these things. Institutions, training agencies, employers, to know exactly, once there is any form of learning, What does it mean when you go to the next stage of learning?